would like to see if the president has anything to say on this subject matter.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, thank everyone today for your heartfelt advocacy and your, I think, excellent arguments on behalf of your communities. This, as you know, this group was eliminated a long time ago for low ridership. As soon as I got here, and I know Chairman Peterson as well, and the other members of the board began to hear strong advocacy for this line. And we listened to them. And I know the desire is to immediately see the line up and running. We're proposing a more incremental step for a couple of reasons. One, I think I understood there's been a lot of talk about a JARC grant, and that is a nice thing to have, but it will run out in September of next year. And so when we make these decisions or recommend these decisions, we have to make them on the assumption that the line will continue forever and it'll be funded forever. And so the cost of this line to the CTA's operating budget will be $1.4 million a year. So we don't, and the other half of the line will be slightly more than that. So roughly $3 million commitment in perpetuity, and then inflation years out. And of course, we have a $160 million budget deficit. I don't need to remind you that still is unaddressed. That has to be solved this in late fall, and we'll be grappling with that. And so as we try to preserve the existing service that we have, and despite the fiscal crisis, we are also trying to recognize the legitimate needs of communities that have not been as adequately served as they should be, based on changes, as many people testified today indicate, changes that have occurred in the last 15 to 20 years. Population patterns, growth, development, and we want to be cognizant of that and try to balance those needs. So what we've proposed is a first step process to take the first step on the west side, the simplest area, in the densest area and the simplest connection, and gather some quick initial data just to confirm our assumptions. And then also, and then after that, take a look at the remaining piece on the east side. And to try to do that also in the context of these budget deliberations going forward, is to try to stabilize our budget and determine the overall level of service that we can sustain, not just in 2013, but 2014, 2015, 2016. We want to continue to work with the organizations here. We want to continue to try to move this forward, but just want to take it one step at a time, given the fiscal realities we have, and also just to get some data based on, confirm the assumptions that this is just a long-term sustainable route, which we believe it would be. Otherwise, we wouldn't recommend it, because even though there's a one-year grant, it runs out. So the commitment is not, the commitment is the CTA's commitment in perpetuity.
Thank you. Any questions from the board for us for a second?
Question: What portion of the JARC money would you use for this 180-day experiment?
I believe the number would be about $300,000 for 6 months.
600,000.
600 for the year, or 600 for the
For the 180 days.
Okay, 600,000.
Any other questions? And again, on behalf of the board, I definitely want to thank the community for coming down and expressing advocacy for this route. And again, I want to thank Senator Sandoval for coming down, as well as Alderman Bolster and Alderman Carnes. Really appreciate him coming down. As I mentioned, the letters of support we ended up getting from Commissioner John Daly, Senator Matty Hunter, as well as Senator Tony Munoz. With that being said, may I now have a motion to approve an ordinance authorizing an extension of bus route number 35, which is 31st/35th Street, as a 100-day experiment.
Move it. Second. 180 days, you said. 180-day experiment.
Right, 180-day experiment.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
We're going to come back to your work. Mr. Irvine?
Yes.
Mr. Sen?
Yes.
Ms. Grimshaw?
Yes.
Mr. Bowen?
Yes.
Mr. Silva?
Yes.
Chairman Peterson?
Yes.
That motion is approved with 7 yes votes.
Thanks, Greg. I would now like to recognize Director Sin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to make a motion now that we request staff to undertake a full analysis including demand and financial analysis for the entire 31st Street route, as described in our job request, and to present a report within 6 months prior to when we would be asked to continue the western part of the route, so that we can
So you said prior to the western part of the route? Is that what you said?
within 6 months.
Okay, with the western, I just want to make sure we got the wording right for the motion. The
Within
western
6
part,
months.
okay.
Within 6 months. That's my motion.
I second. Okay. We'll go Jack and I will second that motion. Greg, should roll call on that
This
motion.
motion by Dr. Smith. Yes, Mr. Robinson? No, what he's
Within 6 months, before the
He's
end.
asking for a report back from staff with a number of issues. But basically, we've already voted on the extension, and this motion is a specific request to staff to provide further information prior to coming back for a vote in 6 months.
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Irvine?
Yes.
Dr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Grimshaw?
Yes.
Mr. Bowman?
Yes.
Mr. Silva? Yes. Chairman Peterson?
Yes.
That motion is approved with 7 yes votes.
Thank you, Greg. The next agenda item is executive session. It is my understanding that there is a need for executive session today, Karen.
Yes, pursuant to section 2C1 of the Open Meetings Act, to get something for executive session.
With that, may I have a motion to recess into executive session?